Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into something that you might not expect.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the welfare programs of the Nigerian Army.
interesting.
I know what you might be thinking, like military stuff. Why? What's that got to do with me? But trust me,
Okay.
this isn't just about like tanks and guns and all that.
Right.
This is about things that affect all of us:
Okay.
housing, healthcare, education, even financial planning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all connected in a way.
I see.
And our main source for this deep dive is an article called "The Nigerian Chief of Army Staff's Welfare Interventions for Army Personnel."
Okay.
And let me tell you, this article is packed with surprises.
Really? I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, you'll see.
Well, most people, I think, when they hear soldier welfare, they just think about, keeping them healthy,
Right.
so they can fight.
Makes sense.
But it goes so much deeper than that.
Oh.
Yeah, think about it. A well-cared-for soldier is going to be more loyal,
Hmm.
more committed, and way more mentally resilient.
That's true.
And all of that is crucial for, a strong military.
So it's not just about like bandages and, field hospitals.
No, not at all. A good welfare program can actually give you a strategic advantage.
Really?
Yeah, it affects morale discipline, even how smoothly soldiers can transition back to civilian life.
Oh wow, I see.
It all comes back to how effective a military can be.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to get the bigger picture now.
Good.
So let's get into some specifics.
Okay.
This article talks about the Nigerian Army's housing programs.
Okay.
They've been renovating and building new barracks with, like, modern amenities.
Mm.
Is that just about making life more comfortable for the soldiers?
Well, sure, comfortable troops are always good,
Yeah.
but it goes further than that.
Oh,
Think about what it means to own a home.
right.
That's something the Nigerian Army is actually helping soldiers do.
Really?
Yeah, through these affordable housing schemes.
Wow.
Yeah, they work with private developers to make it happen.
That's incredible.
Owning a home gives you stability and financial security,
Right.
reduces stress, improves your overall well-being.
I hadn't thought about that.
And it's not just the soldier, it's their families too.
Yeah, that's true. Their families benefit as well.
Exactly. It does a ripple effect.
Right. A stable home life means a more focused soldier.
Exactly. Now let's move on to healthcare.
Okay.
The Nigerian Army has been building and upgrading military hospitals,
Makes sense.
offering free or subsidized care,
Wow.
not just for the soldiers, but for their families too.
That's great.
Yeah, and what really stood out to me was the Nigerian Armed Forces health insurance scheme.
NAFACE.
Yes, NAFAs.
What's that?
It covers a ton of medical services,
Wow.
so it really reduces the financial burden of healthcare.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That way soldiers know they can get good care and not have to worry about the cost.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not all about physical health, is it?
No, of course not.
The article also mentioned mental health programs and counseling.
Yes, very important.
It seems like the Nigerian Army is taking a more holistic approach to healthcare.
They are, and it's encouraging to see
Absolutely.
soldiers face a ton of pressure and stress,
I bet.
both when they're deployed and back home.
Right.
So taking care of their mental health is really important
For sure.
for their well-being and for the Army to function well.
It's like they're saying we're investing in the whole person,
Exactly.
not just the soldier.
That's a great way to put it.
It makes you feel valued.
It does.
So we've talked about housing and healthcare.
Right.
What else is the Nigerian Army doing to support its soldiers?
Well, one area they've been focusing on is education and skills development.
Oh, interesting.
They offer scholarship programs
Okay.
for soldiers' children and even for the soldiers themselves
Really?
to pursue higher education.
Wow.
And they've set up Army-run schools and universities, like
Yeah.
the Nigerian Army University in Boo.
Never heard of it.
They offer quality education at lower prices.
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
It-
But why so much emphasis on education? I mean, aren't soldiers supposed to, fight?
Well, you're right. Most people think that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most soldiers don't serve their whole lives.
That's true.
They go back to civilian life eventually.
Right.
And when they do, they need skills to get jobs.
Right.
And education gives them those skills.
So it makes that transition smoother.
Exactly.
So it's not just preparing them for the Army, it's preparing them for life after the Army.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that they're valuable members of society even after they leave the service.
I like that.
And these programs help them contribute in new ways.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Good.
This reminds me of a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to retire from the military, and he is so anxious about finding a new job.
I bet.
He feels like all he knows is how to be a soldier.
Yeah. That's common.
But imagine if he had access to these programs while he was serving.
It would make a huge difference.
For sure.
That's what these programs are for.
Yeah, give soldiers a sense of security and a path forward.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about housing, healthcare, and education.
Yes.
What about finances? What's the Nigerian Army doing to make sure its soldiers are financially secure?
Well, financial stability is important for everyone, but especially for soldiers.
Of course, putting their lives on the line.
Exactly. And the Nigerian Army knows this.
Okay.
They've put some things in place to make sure their soldiers are financially secure.
Like what?
Well, first, they make sure salaries and allowances are paid on time,
Okay.
including things like hazard pay for combat operations
Makes sense.
and peacekeeping bonuses.
It's important to acknowledge the risks they're taking.
It shows them that their service is valued.
But what about after they leave the Army? Retirement.
That's covered too. They have pension and retirement benefits.
Okay, good.
And they're working to fix any problems with late pension payments.
So they're committed to taking care of them even after they retire.
Absolutely. It's about honoring their service.
That's good to hear.
And it also sends a message to current soldiers
What kind of message?
that they'll be taken care of too.
Oh, I see.
Builds trust and loyalty.
It's not just about pensions, though, is it?
No, you're right. The article also mentioned emergency loans and savings schemes.
Oh, yeah. Just like in civilian life.
Exactly. They understand that life happens,
Unexpected expenses and all that.
Exactly. And they want to help their soldiers manage that.
I like that.
It's about being responsible with money and helping soldiers build a secure future.
For themselves and their families.
Exactly. And that benefits everyone.
The soldier, the family, and the Army.
Precisely.
Wow, we've covered a lot today.
We have.
Housing, healthcare, education, finances.
It's a lot.
And it seems like the Nigerian Army has really thought this through.
They have. It's impressive.
They've created a whole system to support their soldiers.
And we're just getting started. There's so much more to this.
I can't wait to dive deeper.
Me too. But first,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts so far? Anything surprise you?
You know what surprised me is how intentional it all seems.
Intentional how?
It's not just random programs.
Yeah.
It's all connected. They're trying to create a whole system of support.
That's a great observation.
Not just for their physical needs.
Right.
But their mental, emotional, and financial well-being, too.
It's a strategy,
Yeah, it recognizes that their lives are complex.
Exactly. In and out of uniform.
Makes me wonder about the individual stories.
Me too.
How are these programs actually affecting the soldiers' lives?
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll find out when we continue our deep dive right after this.
Looking forward to it. So before we go any further,
Okay.
I think we need to remember that these programs,
Yeah.
they're not just about making life easier for soldiers. It's more than that.
Okay.
These are strategic investments.
It's investments.
Yeah, in human capital.
I see.
It's all designed to make the Nigerian Army better at what they do.
So you're saying it's not just about compassion.
No, it's about making a stronger military.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
A soldier who's stressed about money,
Yeah.
they're not going to be focused on their mission.
That's true.
And if they're worried about their kids' education,
Right.
they might hesitate when it matters most.
Oh, I see.
By taking care of these problems, the Nigerian Army is creating a more focused force.
So it's like they're removing distractions
Exactly.
so they can focus on what they need to do.
Exactly. And remember, a soldier who feels supported,
Yeah.
they're going to be more loyal to the Army.
Makes sense.
And they'll stay longer, too.
So you end up with a more experienced force.
Exactly. It's like investing in your employees so they'll be more productive.
That's a good analogy.
Now let's go back to where we left off.
Okay.
Career progression within the Nigerian Army.
Career progression.
Yeah, we all want to feel like we're moving forward in our careers.
Yeah,
right?
that's for voice.
Soldiers, too.
Right.
And the article talks about how the Nigerian Army promotes people.
Okay.
It's based on merit, experience, and performance.
So they're rewarding hard work.
Exactly. And it's all transparent, too.
That's important.
It makes things fair.
And it motivates soldiers to do better.
For sure, because they know their efforts will be noticed.
And they have those leadership courses too, right?
Yes, at different Army training institutions.
So they're not just getting promoted, they're learning new skills too.
Right. And that benefits everyone?
The soldier and the Army.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
And they give awards and commendations too, right?
They do.
It's like when your boss says, good job.
Makes you feel good.
It does. It makes you want to work harder.
That's the idea.
It creates a more positive environment.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff.
Right.
But now we need to talk about something more difficult.
I know what you mean.
The families of soldiers who have died.
Yes. It's a crucial part of soldier welfare.
It's about recognizing the sacrifice of the families, too.
Exactly.
And the Nigerian Army is doing a lot to help them.
They are.
What are they doing?
Well, first, they give financial compensation and benefits.
So the families don't struggle financially.
Exactly. It's essential support.
And they offer scholarships for the children, too, right?
They do.
Can you imagine losing a parent and then
Getting that kind of support.
it gives you hope for the future?
It does. It's a commitment to their future.
And it's not just about money and education, is it?
No, emotional support is important, too.
The article mentioned counseling services for the families.
It's about helping them through a very tough time.
It's a holistic approach.
It really is. They understand what these families are going through.
You know, it makes me think about the emotional well-being of the soldiers themselves.
Interesting.
We talked about mental health programs, but
What?
what are the specific challenges they face?
That's a great question.
What kind of stress are we talking about?
Well, soldiers face a lot of unique stressors.
Like,
Constant danger, being away from loved ones, seeing traumatic things.
right,
All of that contributes to mental health problems.
PTSD, anxiety, depression.
Exactly.
I can only imagine how hard it must be.
It is.
So the Nigerian Army providing mental health services is really important. But are they doing enough?
That's a tough question.
What are the challenges?
Well, one of the biggest is the stigma.
Stigma,
Yeah, people are afraid to talk about mental health.
especially in the military,
Right, they think it makes them look weak.
or that it could hurt their career.
Exactly.
So they're fighting two battles.
Yes, one on the battlefield and one inside themselves.
We need to break down that stigma.
We do.
Make it okay to ask for help.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
So how do we do that?
Well, we need to talk about it more openly.
In the military,
Yes, and in society as a whole.
leaders need to set an example.
Absolutely.
Talk about their own struggles.
It helps to normalize it.
And we need to make sure soldiers know where to get help.
Exactly.
But it's more than just having resources available.
It's about changing the culture.
So seeking help is seen as a good thing. This has been really eye-opening.
It has been.
Soldier welfare is so complex.
It is.
It's not just about basic needs.
It's about taking care of the whole person.
So they can thrive in and out of the military.
And as we continue our deep dive,
Yes.
we'll see even more examples of how the Nigerian Army is doing just that.
Okay, I can't wait.
Me neither, but first,
A break.
we'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive into soldier welfare.
All right, so we're back.
Back for more.
We've been talking about soldier welfare.
Yeah, focusing on the Nigerian Army.
And they've been doing some pretty impressive things to support their soldiers.
We've seen that. Yeah.
It's not just about, like, the bare minimum,
Right. It goes way beyond that.
housing, healthcare, education,
Financial security,
career advancement.
even support for families who have lost someone.
It's really a whole system.
It is very comprehensive.
And they're really trying to create an environment where soldiers can succeed
Not just as soldiers, but as people.
with lives outside the military.
Right. Exactly, with families and dreams and all of that.
As we wrap up today,
Yeah.
there's one big takeaway for me.
What's that?
Investing in soldier welfare.
Yeah.
It's not just the right thing to do.
It's the smart thing to do.
You got that right.
Yeah.
It's not about being nice or,
Charitable.
yeah, it's about having a stronger military.
A well-supported army is a more effective army.
Exactly.
And the Nigerian Army seems to really get that.
I think so too.
When soldiers feel valued and cared for,
Yeah,
they're more committed.
more loyal,
And they're more resilient, too.
resilient help.
They can handle challenges better.
On the battlefield.
On and off the battlefield.
It's like all this support.
Yeah.
It makes them stronger mentally.
Exactly. And that translates to better performance,
Makes sense.
higher morale, a more united force.
We've been talking about Nigeria,
Right.
but these ideas
They apply everywhere.
to any military.
Any military in the world.
So taking care of soldiers,
Yeah.
it makes a country more secure.
Absolutely. It's an investment in national security
It's about recognizing that soldiers are people too.
with lives outside the military.
Families, hopes, and dreams.
We need to support them.
It makes the military stronger.
And it makes society stronger, too.
So when we talk about defense spending,
Yeah.
we usually think about weapons and equipment,
Tanks, planes, bombs,
but we should also be thinking about the people,
the soldiers themselves.
the heart of the military.
Exactly.
Food for thought.
There's so much more to learn about this.
This has been a great conversation.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Until next time.
See you then.